This is practice reading from a book called You Can Trust a Communist to Be Communist. Chapter 2, Intellectual Pride. And I forgot to tell you, but this book was written by, let me check my book. This book was written by Dr. Fred C. Swartz. So this is Chapter 2, starting with intellectual pride. A third factor in making a communist is intellectual pride. The student of 18 or 19 years of age is beginning to feel the freedom of his new intellectual environment. He is just beginning to realize how little his parents know. For 16 or 17 years, the truth of their backwardness and ignorance passed him by. But now the light is dawning. He has come to realize the sordidness of the traditions of his own country and to discover that national heroes, even men like Washington and Lincoln, were motivated by personal selfish greed. Because becoming disenchanted with his family and national heritage, he is ripe for conversion to communism. Convinced of his intellectual brilliance, he sees himself as master of the situation, as one who is entitled because of his superior intelligence to be the executive of the great program for the regeneration and perfection of all mankind. Mankind certainly needs changing, and he is just the man to do it. Unfulfilled religious need. The fourth factor in making of a communist is unfulfilled religious need. Man shall not live by bread alone. Life needs a purpose. Man is born with a heart to worship God, to reach out for something bigger and beyond himself, to seek some noble vision of which to sacrifice, some purpose for which to live and die. When denial of the existence of God deprives him of his natural fulfillment, communism provides a substitute. It gives him a sense of purpose and destiny. Giving gives meaning to life and provides a motive for sacrifice. Oh wow, sacrifice. People are mystified when a man born to great wealth and social position becomes a communist, spends his fortune for communist purposes, and even goes to jail in the interest of the communist cause. To many people, this does not make sense. Let us try to put ourselves in his position. As a child, he has the finest tutors. He is very intelligent. Very early in life, he learns that there is no God. That the idea of God is for dull and second-rate minds. And that he, in the purity and perfection of his intellect, has no need of God. He accepts the Darwinism hypothesis concerning the origin of man, and the Marxian hypothesis concerning the origin of civilization, culture, morality, ethics, and religion. As a young man, he sits on the Mount of Learning and watches the progress of the animal species from the jungles via savagery and barbarism to civilization. He watches the productive forces as they operate on the human species, dividing it into nations and classes, creating cultures, civilizations, moral codes, educational and political institutions, and religious faith. He sits above it all, and beyond it all, he is lost in lonely isolation. Life is devoid of meaning, purpose, and objective. Yet he is a young man with all the idealism and emotional urgency of youth. Where can he find fulfillment? Some seek it in sporting life, some in the life of a playboy. These outlets have little appeal for him. Suddenly he hears a whisper on the breath that history, in the goodness of its heart, is calling unto itself a few of its finest and its best. Superior intellects, courageous characters with an insight into its mind and its purpose, and a knowledge of historic law and historic will, that it is uniting them into its finest organization and giving them the destiny of conquering the world and regenerating mankind. It comes as a vision of glory. It sets a song singing in his heart. It puts stars before his eyes. It leads him forward to live, and it's necessary to die in the communist cause. In it he finds a religious refuge for his godlessness and unbelieving heart. Communists are not born, they are made. They are being formed constantly on the campuses of the world. As long as youth is disillusioned, materialistically oriented, and spiritually unfulfilled, there will be no death. There will be no dearth of communist recruitments. Herein lies our greatest challenge.